What's the most savage way you've dealt with entitled parkers? This happened about 20 years ago, back when my family owned 2 apartment buildings in the suburbs of Chicago. They weren't big complexes, just the kind of 3 flats that lined both sides of the street for what felt like a mile. We lived in 2 of the units ourselves and rented out the other 4. Unlike most of the other buildings, we had a big piece of land. That meant a real parking lot, 16 full spaces. For years, it was one of the best things about living there. Our tenants were happy, we had our own spaces, and nobody had to fight over parking. In a neighborhood where most people circled the block for street parking every night, our lot was gold. And for decades, everything was fine, until it wasn't. At first, it was just the occasional mystery car. I'd pull in at night and see a vehicle I didn't recognize. It wasn't one of our tenants, and it wasn't any of their guests. Some random person from a nearby building had just decided to use our lot like it was public property. One day, I decided to do something about it. I waited until a stranger parked, then blocked him in with my car. I figured I'd confront him when he came out, but when he finally did, this guy didn't apologize. He didn't even try to talk. He just jumped in his car, floored it, and drove straight through our bushes and across the yard to escape, left tire ruts in the grass like he was making his own personal driveway. I was furious. I called the cops, but they basically said, "Sorry, nothing we can do." That didn't sit right with me, so I called a tow company. They came out, installed official tow-away signs, and told us if anyone parked there illegally, all we had to do was give them a call. And for a while, that solved the problem. Then came New Year's Eve. I'll never forget pulling into our driveway late that night. I turned the corner and my jaw dropped. Every single one of our 16 spots was full. Cars I'd never seen before. And it wasn't just that. The street in front of the lot had cars parked bumper to bumper, blocking in everyone else. It looked like a stadium parking lot after a concert. My blood pressure skyrocketed. I called the tow company immediately, only to be told they were slammed with calls and couldn't get to us for hours. Meanwhile, it was below zero outside, the kind of bitter cold that makes your nose hairs freeze the second you step outside. That's when the idea hit me. I went into the garage, dug out 3 old sprinklers and a couple of hoses, hooked one of the hoses to the laundry room sink, and turned on the hot water so the lines wouldn't freeze. Then I set the sprinklers up all over the lot and flipped them on. The effect was immediate. Spray shot into the air, coating the cars in a fine mist that froze on contact. Every 30 minutes or so, I moved the sprinklers around, making sure no car was spared. I sprayed into locks, between window seals, into grills, across the street, and over the sidewalks. By the end of it, the whole lot looked like a skating rink out of a fairy tale. For nearly 5 hours, I kept at it, shivering, stomping my feet, but grinning like a maniac the whole time. By the time I finally went inside and turned off the lights, every car out there was entombed in ice. At 4 in the morning, it started. Furious pounding on the front door, doorbells ringing non-stop, shouting from the yard. These people were livid and freezing. My family and I just smiled, pulled the blankets tighter, and waited. Eventually, the cops showed up. I went outside with them, and the scene was priceless. Every car was locked in place, doors frozen shut, windows frosted solid. A crowd of angry strangers stood around, stomping their feet, trying to stay warm. The cops were trying not to laugh. They asked what happened, and the drivers all said the same thing. Their friend told them it was fine to park here, and wouldn't you know it, their friend turned out to be the exact same idiot who had once driven through my bushes. I pointed at the big tow-away signs and told the cops they had my permission to ticket, and ticket they did. Every single car got slapped. Then the tow trucks started arriving, one after another. Since none of the drivers could even get into their frozen solid vehicles, they were hauled off one by one. By the time the sun came up, the lot was empty again. The ice was still there, glistening in the morning light, like a frozen warning to anyone who thought about trying it again. And me? I just went back inside, made myself a hot cup of coffee, and smiled, because sometimes the best revenge really is served ice cold.